This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
So what I'm going to talk to you today about is a little bit kind of what we heard this morning in terms of some of these social issues that the beef industry is facing, right, from Bill from Rabobank. And how do we talk about some of these issues and address some of these things that if you do join Twitter or go on social media, you'll hear a lot of negatives about beef, particularly with regard to environmental impacts, right? So what I'm going to talk to you today about is really addressing a couple of these things that we hear repeatedly. And one is this whole idea that cattle are competing with people for food, right? Whether what they're eating directly or the land base that we're using, right? And so to most of you in the room, you understand that's not the case, right? But what are the actual facts behind that? And what does the science tell us? And then also a little bit on greenhouse gas emissions, which is something that beef is also kind of a whipping boy in the media in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. So upcycling, what does this word actually mean, right? If you look it up in the Webster Dictionary, there is a definition for upcycling, essentially taking something of literal no value and making a higher value product. But also this whole idea of upcycling isn't necessarily a new concept, okay? So this quote I have on the screen here, I'll read it all even though it's a little bit long. Livestock are able to consume these byproduct materials which man cannot use to render available a portion of their energy, use it in the first instance to support our own lives, but also storing for man's use in a certain part that would otherwise go to total waste. As the demand for food grows more intense, it will become increasingly important to so husband these byproducts and combine them in efficient rations to feed these rations under such conditions to such types of animals as to save the largest percentage of energy in which they contain. Okay, so it's kind of a fancy way to say, again, this whole upcycling concept, all the stuff that we feed that is not human edible. And the reason I put this quote up here is because none of this is new, right? So this is a quote from Dr. Armsby in 1909, okay, at the very first animal science nutrition meeting address he gave. And so I just want to put this kind of historical context on this, right? We have lots of reports that are out here. This CAST report that was written back 20 years ago now. Dr. Olchin is in the room, so he was a co-author on it if you want to learn more. But essentially this debate about livestock, it kind of repeats every generation, right? So nothing is really new in all these critiques, but it's just reminding people what ruminants actually are bringing to the food system, and doing so hopefully in a way that makes sense to the public.
Mark your calendars for Tuesday, March 26th in Beloit, where the first ever Stock Growers Field Day will be held by K-State Research and Extension, the Kansas Livestock Association, and the Kansas Bull Test. The event will be highlighted by a market outlook from Cattle Facts as well as a presentation from well-known reproductive physiologist Dr. Rick Funston, where he speaks about increasing production efficiency. From there, we'll also play host to over 30 ag-based businesses in the trade show and enjoy breakout sessions where producers can listen to speakers on topics that apply directly to their operation. This event should cater to producers of all size and scale and offer a social aspect as well, so we look forward to seeing you there for the inaugural Stock Growers Field Day in North Central Kansas.